So I want you guys, so you're going to walk me through what we're going to do. Okay? You're jogging, you're jogging, you're jogging, and he falls down. So what's the first thing you're going to do?
Check.
Check.
First you're going to say, what's your name? I'm sorry? Lienza. Lienza, are you okay? Right? So what are you going to do?
Shake him, shake him.
Shake him, shake him. Are you okay? He's not moving. Now what do you do? So what do we say? No. What do I say? Remember, look, listen, and feel, right? So you want to first shake, shake, shake. Then you're going to look. Is he moving? Is he breathing? No. You want to listen? Okay, we're going to listen. Okay, I don't hear him breathing. Then you're going to feel. Okay? You're going to go right here. And I don't feel anything, okay? So as soon as that happens, what are you going to do next? No! You got to call 119, right? You got to get help.
But 119 will take long to come.
I understand. But the most important part is that you have to start that process first.
119 is the police, so we'll call 110, which are the ambulance people.
Perfect. So 110 is who you got to call.
Yeah, we'll call
So you want to call the ambulance. Right. So back where in the United States, we have one number for ambulance, fire, and police, right? And they tell us, they ask us, what's your emergency? And then they figure out who to call. But if you have a number for the ambulance directly, you want to call them. Okay? So you're going to call 110, 110, right?
Yes.
So you're going to call 110 and say, my friend, he's fell down, he collapsed, he's not breathing, he does not have a pulse. I'm going to start CPR, I need someone to come here. Okay? If there's someone around you, you tell them to go call it, and then you attend to your friend. Okay? But if you're alone by yourself, then you need to make sure you get help as fast as you can. Because that's what's going to delay is getting people to come in. Okay? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry?
So we don't get any help.
So you don't get any help?
Yeah. Just press present.
You keep going.
I suppose we start press and not happening. Rush him to the hospital.
So, depends on how far is the hospital.
You have to have a backup thing, you know. Before you have
Right.
pressing, and nothing, you're not getting any response.
Right. So I would try to instill as many people as you can before you have to move someone. Okay? So I would call the police. I would call the ambulance. I would call anybody who could possibly come help to assist. Because this is a life and death situation. And every time that you move someone and you don't do CPR, their chance of dying increases more. So it's better to stay and do this than to stop and move. Okay? And let someone come here who can do more stuff. Okay? So, what are we going to do? So running, fell. What do you do?
Stop shaking.
Shake, right?
Yes.
Then,
Listen.
look, listen, feel. Nothing. Then what do you do? Call right. Absolutely. Call for ambulance. And then do compression. Okay? So you're going to lock your fingers like this. Hand on the chest right here. And then just push, 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 push. Okay? Staying alive, staying alive. There you go. Staying alive, staying alive. You got it, you got it. That's perfect.
When they say not seeing any blood this morning, but giving oxygen,
so you're not. Right. So it's gonna be hard enough. So there's two levels of CPR. So now in the United States, what we realize is that people, you can sit up. Thank you so much. Give a good round of applause. Come on. So what we realized is in the US even, number one, not enough people know about CPR. Okay? So the people may not be familiar with how to give breaths, or when to give breaths, or how often to give breaths, or how many times you have to beat on the chest, and then how many times you have to stop. When do you have to check? Because there's a lot of information that goes to it, right? So instead of trying to see if we can teach the whole world this in a specific period because it's a 4-hour class. It's just better to just teach someone, do chest compressions and don't stop until someone comes to help. Okay, it's just easier, it's faster. This is what's been proven to at least help save lives. Because otherwise, if you don't know how to do CPR, people will just stand and do nothing. So this is better than doing nothing, right? And people have oxygen in their body, okay? So people do have oxygen in their body. And yes, it will get depleted, and yes, they may need some breaths. But if you're comfortable with it, give the breaths, okay? But if you're not comfortable with it, there are a lot of people who are scared, especially in this day and age of giving breaths to other people, especially if it's not family or anyone, right? So it can be somewhat fearful for people. So what I want to impart to you is that this is, you know, something you can do at least until someone help arrives, and someone who knows CPR or someone who can help you and take over. Any questions?
Yeah, question.
Yes, ma'am.
For the person who is going to just fall down, is it that there must be a sign or a symptom to know that the person would easily get a heart attack? Because heart attack we're talking about, eh?
So what specifically in younger children, they don't specifically suffer from heart attacks. What they're suffering from is actually a congenital heart disease. What it is that there's a structural deformity of the heart, and the heart gets enlarged. And this heart, when it gets enlarged, what happens is that the heart, when young athletes start exercising vigorously, and this heart gets a lot more demand, the demand cannot be met, and these children go into a dysrhythmia. Their heart goes into an irregular rhythm, and then they fall and collapse. Okay? So,
that's what I'm saying. Would not there be a sign or a symptom before that occurs?
Some children may get dizzy. Some people may have some shortness of breath when running long distances. You know, however,
can they have pain in the chest also? Can that be one of the symptoms?
So anytime someone has pain in the chest when they're running, it should be looked into. Okay, but typically when we talk about this disease, you have kids who have been athletes for many years. 3-4 years, no symptoms, no problems. They're running, and all of a sudden they collapse and fall. There were no signs, there were no triggers. So yes, there sometimes can be subtle things. Sometimes on a doctor's examination, we may hear something when we listen to the heart. But again, that may or may not be the case. So the way to actually diagnose this is with doing an echocardiogram, with looking at the heart physically with an ultrasound, and doing EKGs. That's kind of how we diagnose this. It's really from that study that we can figure it out. Otherwise, you know, kids do have chest pain, kids do have dizziness, kids do pass out sometimes. But this specific disease is something structurally wrong with the heart. When we talk about elderly people, yes, there's signs and symptoms and everything. But for younger kids, this isn't. That's why it's so scary. Because there isn't much we can do except for what we're doing today to figure this out. And like I said, it can happen at any moment. That's why it's so important for the younger kids when they're around them, because they're going to be around them to know exactly what to do if that happens.
Hello, I'm Shadi Grant, a present student of the St. Jago High School. I've learned a lot today, and I'd like to thank the JAHJAH Foundation for helping us out. I've learned about CPR and how to prepare both mentally and physically for a competition, and that I should always keep hydrated, and I will take what I've learned into consideration. Thank you.
This is Chevanese Palmer, and I'm from St. Jago High School, and I want to thank the JAHJAH Foundation for having us and extending this opportunity to us. It was a great experience, and we want to thank you for having us.